How was your Father's Day?
Oh, very good. It was we spent most of the day traveling back from Minneapolis. We were at ODB's wedding over the weekend. So
Okay, I did see Mickey posted that.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
So,
a lot of fun.
I was just telling Ross I went to Cooperstown for the weekend.
Oh, nice.
So, other than that, what's new with you? What's new with Nick Aldis?
Well, apart from heading towards Slammiversary,
Yeah, not
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 much. I'm
to
working.
not to undersell it. World title
Sure.
shot coming up.
Right,
Uh,
right.
I guess a return to form, if you want to put it that way. Everybody saw what you did on Thursday.
A return
Uh,
to form. A
uh,
return to form. I said.
you said you were
I see. I've seen a lot of sentiment to the effect of finally we're seeing the real Nick Aldis, or the Nick Aldis that we want to see. It's almost this sort of love to hate situation, but I can see that. I suppose I can live with that. I mean, I was just so. I mean, look, I was just enough with this. Oh, spirit of competition. Oh, I'm so honored to be a consideration for the title and blah blah blah. It's so boring. I mean, clearly I'm in the guy that they need to be putting in the title picture. Clearly, I need to be the number one contender. And now that I've got myself in a position where I was able to get that, now that I've earned my title shot and no one can take it away from me at Slammiversary, now I can take the gloves off and be real again. I have to do no more politicking.
I saw the Simpsons meme that you posted, so I'm glad you're having fun with it too.
I can't take credit for it. It was a fan sent it, but I was immediately said that's it. I'm
And
afraid I've had one of my trademark changes of heart.
I'm glad you're having fun with it, and I think it's interesting that uh you know like why did it take so long? I guess like you said, you're
It's
pretending,
That's
you're
it.
not
Look, you
pandering.
gotta
Like
you
what?
look, you gotta play the game a little bit. That people are sensitive. People at Impact are sensitive. Like, oh, why is he coming in and immediately getting a title shot? And oh, it's not fair. What about me? Look. The reality is that I'm the right guy. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I did what I had to do. I played the game, and everything I said about the championship. I mean, it is important that you recognize and appreciate what you hold in your hand. And I had every intention of taking it from Steve Macklin. I mean, I was, that's why I was saying the things that I said. I hope you understand that you're holding, 20 plus years of history in your hand. Some of the greatest of all time have held this championship. So, it's got a very respectable lineage, and is, certainly got a great deal of prestige. And I intend to, do with it what I've done with previous championships, where take the lineage, take the greats that have held it before, and honor them, and make sure that people look at today's offering and go, yeah, this guy could hang with any one of those. This guy's comparable to any of the great champions that have held this belt before.
I think the reaction to your personal history in the wrestling business in the past year or so is interesting because you were, if you're looking at it in terms of like babyface heel or whatever, like you towards the end of your run in the NWA, you were a babyface, left the company, shared your issues with why you left the company, but you didn't do it where, you were making people choose sides, or it wasn't anything. It was just, here's how I feel, here's why I left, and that was it, and you left.
Right.
Now there's this, you came into Impact and felt the need to pretend, where it's like, well, why didn't you just do that from the start? And I know you say you had to play the game a little bit, but I don't necessarily feel you're cutting the line. Like you're one of the greatest NWA World's Heavyweight Champions in recent memory. You had a historic title run, like, face of the company. It's not like you're just somebody that's coming back and, don't have the accolades
No, I'm
to
not.
do
I'm not
so.
some. I'm not some schlub. I'm not some schlub
Yeah,
who showed up with his boots and they had a tryout. No, no, of course. But what
like
I'm what
you
I'm
have a
saying
right
is
to
that
be there.
I have a right to be in the main event. What I'm saying is that I understood that it would make things easier for management if I played the game a little bit, because otherwise they'd have to deal with butthurt wrestlers who are going, oh, it's not fair, or how come he gets to come straight here? I've been here for X amount of years and I haven't had a title shot. And it's like, yeah, look in the mirror, right? Like, like you said, my history of that company is well documented. I rose up through the card on that, in that company when I was surrounded by Hall of Famers, right? And since then, to think that I beat Jeff Hardy for my first world title, successfully defended it against AJ Styles, Sting, Samoa Joe, a who's who of the industry. And the irony, and to think that I did all that in that company, but when I came back to Impact Wrestling, what I'm most known for is what I did after I left. Yeah. Like, so, look, I think my body of work speaks for itself in that respect. But I also understand that, I'm not trying to make things difficult for management. I don't want them to have to be, wasting time, placating a bunch of, upset, middle of the road guys. So, but like I said, I just did that so that I would get the opportunity that I deserved with as little pushback as possible, because I just don't have the energy to be dealing with it. And now that I've got what I came for, the title shot at Slammiversary, okay, great. Now I can finally say what I've been thinking this whole time.
I think another interesting dynamic is, in name, you're a completely different guy too. Like, you were Magnus early on.
Right.
I don't think they ever referred to you as Nick Aldis. Both, like, this is your third run with the company, but you were Magnus for so long, or Brutus Magnus for so long, and I think this is the first time you really get a chance to be Nick. So I think is there maybe a chip on your shoulder in that aspect too, where
no, I don't think there's a chip on my shoulder.
You're trying to establish Nick Aldis in Impact
Nick,
history
I'm
versus Magnus.
Bill, let me make this clear. I'm not trying to establish Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis is established. I'm not trying to establish
in terms
anything.
of Impact history or TNA history.
No, Impact Wrestling wanted Nick Aldis. They didn't want Magnus. Yeah, they wanted Nick Aldis, and that's a testament to my body of work. And it's also, hats off to them, because there was absolutely no discussion of, referring to any of the past other than just as an interesting footnote, as an interesting sidebar. Like, you guys might remember this guy because this is who he was before. But, let's face it, when I showed up, it wasn't like anyone went, "Oh, it's Magnus." No, they went, it's Nick Aldis. Like, we know who this guy is. So, I've worked very hard to achieve that sort of credibility and that cachet. So, now it's just time to see it through, because I don't know. I mean, maybe this is just me. Maybe I'm speaking out of school, but I think the interesting thing about the main event of Slammiversary, the world's title match, is that champion, I feel like, is the underdog. I think if Alex Shelley beats me at Slammiversary, it's a bit of an upset.
It's an interesting way to look at it.
Do you disagree?
I can see your argument. I'm not trying to avoid the answer, but I think it's interesting because I just talked to him not too long ago, and I asked him about Steve Macklin saying he dropped the ball. And I said, I don't think you can say he dropped the ball when it's literally only his second world title match in Impact ever. So, I mean, yeah, I think there's an argument what you're saying. Like, he hasn't really had a chance to prove himself as a world champion because it's uncharted territory in many ways.
And boy, does he have a tall order for his first title defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to use the phrase transitional champion, but here we go. I mean, this will be the ultimate test to see whether This will prove whether he really was, whether Macklin was off his game, and whether Alex Shelley did just happen to be in the right place at the right time. Because if he beats me, then his world title reign is solidified as legitimate.
We didn't have to pull teeth for you to say that, though. So I think you're okay with that.
I don't mince words, Bill. I'm telling the truth. I mean, there's some people find that in a business full of liars, people who tell the truth are often ostracized and demonized. I think we've seen that in other places recently. But there you go. It's another story for another day. I'm well aware of what I bring to the table, and like I said, what I bring to Slammiversary is the toughest test that he's ever faced, because whereas he has had a very good career and a very storied career, and he certainly has his fingerprints on a lot of people in the industry, he doesn't have the big match experience that I have, and he certainly doesn't have the experience of the pressure of carrying the entire brand and the entire company on his back like I have.
I have a couple more questions for you. First, Jimmy Jacobs said he already said he's left the company, but he was seen on TV as I guess you would call him your personal interviewer. I think he was another way to sort of endear yourself to the crowd. But now that he's gone, any thoughts on what he added to your presentation, or maybe any new candidates? You gonna try to replace him? Anything like that? Any thoughts?
That's well. First of all, I thought he was a great to my presentation, but it wasn't something that was necessarily planned out or laid out from the beginning. It was just something that happened. It was a suggestion that I had like because it had been made clear to me that they wanted me to be presented differently. They wanted me to feel different to everyone else on the roster, and with good reason. And so I said, well, maybe I should have somebody else doing my interviews. Because it was a sort of spur of the moment thing, Jimmy's standing right there. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy's a very talented performer and looks good on camera, and it just worked out well. I'm pleased for Jimmy, and I think he deserves the opportunity that he's just got. So, it's and we were both talking about how it's a bittersweet situation, because we were enjoying doing what we were doing, and we were actually thinking about expanding on it even further. Mm-hmm. But obviously, hey, this business, this is nothing new to me. Like, these things happen. Yeah. So I might have some ideas and some suggestions, particularly for Slammiversary. I think, for the special occasion, it might be cool to bust out somebody. But beyond that, haven't really thought about it much, although I'll probably think about it as we head into Atlanta, Summer Sizzler this weekend. It should be a lot of fun, where I finally get to let loose on the microphone without this facade of camaraderie and spirit of competition and friendly fire. No, there's no friendly fire anymore. It's here comes the venom.
No more pretending. All right, you're the National Treasure. Are you a fan of the National Treasure movies with Nicolas Cage? Do you want to see a third one?
It's never been asked to me, believe it or not.
That's why I had to bring it out.
I actually did. I mean, look, I think it's a guilty pleasure film. I certainly enjoyed the first one. I don't know if I've ever seen any of the others. I enjoyed the first one in the same way that you enjoy a McDonald's occasionally. Let's not think too hard about what's in it. Let's just enjoy the dopamine rush from it and move on. And let's not spend too much time thinking about the substance, about stealing the Declaration of Independence, because it's just that easy. But a good sort of swashbuckling adventure film. Yeah, whatever. I don't think I've seen the others, so I'm not sure I could comment on whether there's room for a third. But hey, it's business. If there's a demand for it, go ahead.
All right. So it's not cinema. I want a third one. Maybe I'll get you to watch the second one, but while you're traveling to Atlanta, maybe that's a movie you can watch. You mentioned Summer Sizzler coming up this weekend,
That's
and
right.
then Slammiversary July 15th in Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Yes.
Nick, thanks very much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you.